The National Wild Turkey Federation has taken a focused approach to conservation through their America's Big Six of wildlife conservation. 6 regions encompassing 738 million acres were identified to address the most urgent needs and better focus resources. These regions are America's Western Wildlands, America's Great Open Spaces, America's Crossroads, America's Mid-South Rebirth, America's Southern Piney Woods, and America's Colonial Forests. In these regions, the NWTF and its partners are taking conservation delivery to a whole new level. The white oak is considered the most ecologically important tree in the eastern United States. Its acorns are critical food for an abundance of wildlife, from wild turkeys, deer, elk, and bears to quail, grouse, and squirrels. The white oak is not only important to wildlife, but also to local and national economy. A large variety of industries depend on white oaks for success. One of the leading forces behind the conservation of the white oak is the White Oak Initiative.
If it wasn't for the white oak, that shaggy bark that we love so much, we wouldn't have the wildlife that we have today. And the places that we can recreate, enjoy that time outdoors, especially this time of the year in the fall when folks like you and I like to hunt or just go out and maybe watch a bear, a deer, an elk, maybe it's a squirrel, but it's all coming down to the white oak. These trees have evolved over time. They actually like a lot of fire, they can handle a lot of abuse, but they need management. And we're a part of this system now, and through conservation efforts from the National Wild Turkey Federation and all of our partners with the White Oak Initiative, we want to make sure that we see white oaks not only today, but for future generations. I know that my kids and my grandkids will want to one day come out here and enjoy the same things that I am today because of the white oak.
Master distiller at Buffalo Trace Distillery, and I've been here about 25 years. And well, for us, one of our key ingredients of really good bourbon is white oak, and it's a very important part of the raw ingredients of what we do. And we have millions of barrels of inventory, and I think we're okay for the near future, but we're looking long term. Everything we do, we look out 35, 40 years. And we talk a lot with the forestry management people, whether it be financially or, just by education, why we need the white oaks to be healthy and so on. Been out in the woods with master loggers and talked to them about, look at the woods and, manage the forest properly, and not just for harvesting of trees, but for wildlife too. For us, it's important because it's a key ingredient for bourbon, and without proper management, we could run into trouble into the future. So any kind of support we give, like to the White Oak program or any projects that are out there that are related to the forestry management, we're actively involved and talking with the group. So I've always felt like my job is to pass on the legacy of the importance of conservation and the outdoors, and I think that's a critically important part of it. Yeah, I think the near term, the resource is there, it's healthy, it's doing well, but long term, we're going to have problems if we don't do something about it, if we don't manage these forests properly in the long term. And when I say long term, I'm looking out, like I said, 30 to 50 years. So a lot of these programs that we're starting now with the forestry management people and things that are going on are really 100-year programs. I mean, we're just getting we're just scratching the surface. We're laying the foundation to manage these forests, and that's extremely important work. It's not just for the white oak, but it's for all the forestry, and extremely important work.
I grew up in the woods with my dad. He logged then, and from the time I was about 6 years old, we logged until I was a teenager, and then he kind of got out of it, and then me and him went back into it in '86, I think, and we've been into it ever since. We got a sawmill. My grandpa was in the logging business, and my great-grandpa was in the logging business. Whenever I step into the woods, it's all business. We get out there, we work hard. In all, we leave the forest better when we leave than when we got there. When you tell them you're a logger, then they just think you want to just go out there and cut trees. I mean, I do want to cut trees, but I want to improve the health of the forest more important than anything. In order to have good quality trees, you've got to manage the forest correctly. And by doing that is not only just cutting trees, but marking the right trees and getting the better genetics into the trees. The sustainability of our forest is very, very important for the future generation.
Garrett, so from a wildlife perspective, we understand why it's so important to remove a few trees. A little bit of thinning provides great habitat on the ground. It releases the surrounding trees. We get a lot more mast on the ground for a ton of critters. But why is removing some of these trees important to you guys?
So for our industry in particular, white oak is the important species that you'll find out here in Missouri and across the eastern half of the U.S. that is important for the coopage industry. The reason that is because it has something called tylosis inside of the growth rings, making it liquid tight. So that's the number one most important part. We don't want any of that delicious liquid hitting the ground. The second part is the flavor profile that it puts out, that vanilla, that spice, that toast that makes all those great spirits and wines the flavor that you know and love. The biggest thing that I tell landowners and people that we deal with on a daily basis is that you've got to think long term. The average age of the tree that we're using in a barrel is 100 years old. Our company's been here for over 107 years and would like to be here longer than that. So it's not something that you can plan for overnight. You have to think in that long term. What's it going to look like 20, 40 years now? Meeting with a professional forester, coming up with that plan to make sure that you've got the right species mix, not just of white oak, but the right species mix for your area and what kind of timber you have. Now, white oak, of course, being of most importance to us, that actual material that's going to turn into that barrel to make that great spirit, to make that great wine, and some of the highest value wood that you're going to find here in the state of Missouri and across the U.S.
Most people don't realize just how important white oak is to our forest systems in general. Most people wouldn't even consider white oak being the most ecologically significant species, but it is. Why is that? There's something special in my heart, and most people, they get to know what a white oak is. It's so important to us, not only from the recreational and family side of things, but also from a wildlife standpoint. The white oak is considered the most ecologically significant species in the eastern United States. It produces a preferred mast, basically acorns as we like to call them, that all wildlife utilize. These trees harbor over 500 different moths and butterflies. Those pollinators that we like to see out in the fields, they make this tree as a home. It's something we're trying to manage for on a landscape level. We're really fortunate, basically blessed to have this tree. It's all about getting outdoors. It's about enjoying the time we have together and making sure that one day these forests will be here for our kids and grandkids to enjoy, just like we do today. The conservation efforts of the National Wild Turkey Federation and all the members of the White Oak Initiative are changing the world each day, one white oak tree at a time.